Hello, everyone. Welcome to Zoovox Goes to the Movies, our Facebook and YouTube exclusive series for now. Until we get more Podomatic sweet storage space. I am your master of ceremony, Sean, and I'm sitting here with two gentlemen. Ryan the guy.
Oh, hello. Sorry.
He's over there guying already. And Dan, the recently radicalized or quote unquote disabled veteran. All right, in today's movie, we're gonna get our artsy fartsy on. Okay, we're gonna be talking about 2013's Under the Skin, directed by John Glazer, co-written by John Glazer and Walter Campbell, based on a book by a man named Michel Faber, also called Under the Skin, came out in 2001. And we're going to start off with Dan. We're going to give our preliminary opinion, these kind of broad opinions, then we're going to go more into a spoiler style. We'll announce when the spoilers start, so you can be assured that nothing in the wonderful film Under the Skin will be spoiled for you. All right, Dan, take us away.
All right. First off, fuck you, Sean, for making me watch this fucking movie. Dude, I was sitting there, and my overall impressions is I liked it, and I enjoyed it, but it was not for any other reason than it was just different. It's a different take on a story that I've seen before. I mean, artistically, it's great. It's beautifully shot. It's got some pretty decent acting, I would say. Definitely unsettling, I think is the right word. Or what's the word I'm thinking of? Help me out here.
I think unsettling is an accurate descriptor.
Sure, very unsettling.
The cinematography and the score and how they kind of complement each other.
I can see why I've never seen it, though, in a sense. I can see why I never actually got around to watching it. Not that it's a bad film. It's really not. It's just different. And you have to be in the mood to watch this movie.
100%.
I did find myself, it's not that I didn't enjoy it, but I was definitely felt, it's a conflicting feeling because I'm glad the way the story went. And I'm glad how they portrayed it and how I guess you could say the lack of information that is given to you, where there's a lot of mystery and a lot of intrigue in that sense. But there is such a lack of information that it's hard to really give a shit. And I think that's the best thing that's all I can say about it at this point without getting into the details.
We get it, Dan. We get it. Paying attention is hard.
I mean, for a disabled veteran, it is hard.
All right, Ryan. Now you wanted to go second. You were all frothing at the bit here.
Okay, yeah, I did not really care for this movie. It's fucking boring as fuck. Excuse my French.
There's some high-level conversation going on right now.
It takes a second to get going. I don't think any of the performances were anything special. Maybe the Scottish people had a better performance than ScarJo. Yeah, I don't know. Anybody could have done what she did.
You're out of your fucking mind.
I mean, you could have fucking put a warm body there. I mean, Jesus. As far as that, I don't know. Just like Dan said, cinematically, is it a word? Yeah, it's a shot well. There's a lot of lingering shots and stuff like that, but I don't know.
I don't know. I was like, when's she gonna turn into Black Widow?
I just didn't really care for it.
When's she gonna be fighting the guys? Hydra.
I mean, it does a decent job of mystery of what's going on, but like Dan said, I just really didn't care, especially the end. I was like, what the fuck? This is so stupid.
Well,
I don't know.
Honest question. Shit. Let me ask you guys an honest question before I get.
No. Oh, come on, dude. You can't ask questions. You got to hear your perspective.
All right. I was just gonna ask you something about why you felt the way you did.
Well, I mean, okay, do that after. Remember, write it down.
All right. This is one of my favorite movies of the past 10 years.
What a fucking weirdo.
I absolutely love this movie. It is a super thinly veiled allegory, and I still like it. It's the only overtly feminist movie.
I'm sorry, John, can you say that one more time? You're kind of going digital. You're getting some digital there. If you can just say it again.
I said it is the only overtly feminist movie I think I've ever really liked.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it's a very thinly allegory for feminism.
Why is it? I didn't really catch that. So what?
We'll get into that when we get into the
Okay.
spoiler stuff. But I kind of echo Dan's sentiments. I think the cinematography is a gorgeous looking movie. I think it's the score is super unsettling, and like I think some of those scenes, like when she's like bringing them her victims into like that chamber, are like just super.
Whoa.
No, that doesn't.
Whoa! What are you doing, man? You're breaking it down. You broke your rule, Sean.
I didn't break any rule. It's in the trailer.
Okay.
But anyways, so it's a cool like spin on like a kind of a familiar story, but I thought it took an angle that I had never seen before, and I disagree with you 100% about Scarlett Johansson's performance. I think it's the best thing she's ever done. Like,
well,
by a pretty wide margin, like this is the best thing she's ever done.
What else has she been in to really compare it to?
That's true. I can't think of her.
To compare it to? Like, what do you mean? She's never done any other
Like
role
as
like
far
this.
as like a actual acting performance, not like Scarlett.
Her. I would say her. That's she's the voice of the AI in her, which is
all right.
I think a decent performance.
Okay, well, I guess that's our preliminary stuff. So we're just going to we're going to start talking about the finer details, more on a granular level about this movie. So spoilers now. You should have never started listening to this, and now if you have, this is another chance to get out. Okay, because Chris Kyle is about to come down from his Superdome, and he's about to shoot you.
About to shoot holes in this movie, bro.
All right, let's hear it.
But so I took some notes. I really did. Like, I'm no bullshit. I took notes. I really did. No, I wanted to kind of some of the feelings that I had while watching it, and I don't, because I actually give a shit about what we're doing. So obviously I took credit. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, no, that's kind of what we want to do with this. This is different than Zubok's regular.
So I was really trying to pay attention, and there are scenes within this movie that separate it for me, that there are singular scenes that really, really set apart. So I'm going in, obviously, completely blind. And I would say the first thing, just like you said, Sean, that really came to me is in the opening shots, or the music. Really, really good music. Kind of reminded me of Hereditary, or even the movie Mother by Darren Aronofsky. That very intense. You felt something was coming just because of the music.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me a little bit of how the beginning of Blood. There Will Be Blood.
I would even say it's very feeling to me.
Yeah, the Shining, 2001, kind of like this, almost like an existential dread type of feeling that you have throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
What about Blade Runner? Does it remind you of Blade Runner?
I did. I felt that too, man. I totally felt that sometimes.
What do you mean? In what way? Like the score, or just like the
cinematically, like cinematography, like those?
I would say that
wide shots.
Yeah, more like Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
And all like that, the kind of like disconnectedness of the main character. Like, just to say it, like this is an alien invasion, basically, and Scarlett Johansson's playing an alien that's wearing like a human skin, learning how to be, or not really learning how to be a person, but using feminine wiles to lure men into, I don't know, some kind of meat packing, or some kind of, I call it the goop chamber. Turn it to goop.
Well, that was the interesting thing. So there's I believe it's the third gentleman that she meets in the club, and they go back and I think it's the first time no, it's not the first time, but you really see under the water, though. You see under this goop, and there is the other gentleman from a previous scene, and then he basically, the life force was draining from him or something. There's something going on, and then the skin is all that's left.
Yeah, it's completely ambiguous as to what is actually happening or what they're harvesting or what.
Well, are they taking those skins and then wearing them?
I think that's part of it. Yes. Yeah.
I thought they were just like feeding their master.
Well, they don't tell you because they show you that they're harvesting something, like they're harvesting the innards of a person, like the goop that gets sucked out. But I think Dan's right. I think that's where they get their skins, and that's where they're wearing people's skin around, trying to assimilate into society. And that's where it kind of comes down to like this idea of being like kind of a feminist allegory, is that she's born, she's a woman, she uses her feminist wiles for like kind of like a hierarchical structure that's reigned over by a guy, like by a man who's in charge of it. And as she slowly becomes more self-aware and does things more for herself, she becomes more of like a real woman, quote unquote. And as soon as she really becomes in her natural state as a woman, like she gets attacked by men for like wanting to be just a woman. Like that's what happens at the end of the movie.
Yeah, how weird is that one guy that found her by the bus and just like took her in? Like, what the hell, man? That's what I don't know. I couldn't just get over that kind of.
Well, there's something about she's weird as hell about
there's something about her that men are finding irresistible on like a different level, right? Like you've kind of seen that. And the cool thing, a testament to Scarlett Johansson, like while they were filming this movie, they would just drive around for hours and she would just talk to strangers. Some of the people that get in the van are not actors. They're just people. She was just picking people up on the side of the road.
Well, they were some of the best actors in the movie, dude. At first, I didn't realize they were in Scotland. I was like, what language?
I thought it was England or something. It took me a minute for sure.
But you can see throughout
subtitles on. I put subtitles on.
You can see throughout the movie her, like, I guess, gaining morality, and it kind of starts with like the family that drowns.
Oh yeah, well she's gaining.
That fucking part.
She's gaining what?
She's gaining. She starts learning empathy.
Yeah.
And it starts with that, but that scene, which in my opinion, there's a scene in the movie where basically a family drowns while trying to save their dog, and then their baby gets left on the shore, and it is the most chilling. Like when the collector guy or when the boss guy goes back to collect all the stuff.
And you think he's going back? Oh my god, yeah.
And he goes back and he just walks by the baby, and they have that long shot of the baby just like struggling on the rocky shore as the water is coming in. Like,
it's terrifying.
I don't know if that's like just having a kid or not, but that shit was like, it's so heartbreaking to me. But that was one of the angles that I've never really seen in one of these movies, that complete fucking indifference. Complete indifference to like human consideration, life, or anything. Like these aliens have no fucking personality. Like it's crazy. Like that.
They're not even there. They don't even care about anything other than what they're just doing, is collecting these people or whatever.
And as somebody who didn't even really like the movie that much, Ryan, did you find that scene like effective, or did that like?
Yeah, I mean it was definitely effective. I would say I just couldn't get into it. In the same sense, I didn't get into, what was that movie with, what the hell is his name? Oh my gosh.
What happens in the movie?
Nick Cage with and his wife gets killed by the Colt.
Oh, Mandy.
Kind of in the same sense, I couldn't get it. That was a better movie in my opinion. Maybe just because there was a lot more going. But I just found it hard to get into it, just because. Maybe I'm a caveman or something.
I like I said, I think there were scenes when that disfigured man, and that's where I feel like she really, the empathy was there. That's or whatever you want to call it. That's where she had this sense of
self.
Well, did he get rejected? Because that's the only way. Because he did go into the goop.
He gives her.
They don't show you him submerged in the goop.
It basically implies that she saves him.
Right.
Still not like, doesn't have like consideration to give him. She just sends him off, and then that's when she bolts. She runs away because she doesn't. She has like a sense of what she's doing all of a sudden, because of like the genteelness of this man, of this disfigured guy. The guy's got.
He was the only one. Well, he was the only one that was. So some of the notes I was taking. I did make some jokes too. But men are driven by obviously sexual gratification. There is some sense of that, and that's what all these men. They were kind of, I guess you could say, low class people. They weren't really considerate. They were there out there for their own gratification, just to get laid.
They were objectifying her as well. Like that's why they were so easy for her to lure in, because
it was a joke.
Because it's implicit that men would just do that anyways. Like that's.
I started going back through my own life. I'm like, that could have been me, dude. Who knows? You know.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, there's Dan.
I was like, I might get into a fucking van with a chick. You know, like who knows?
Where's your family? I don't have family here.
Yeah, yeah. There was like I did write down one of the notes. The baby beach scene was very intense. Lack of remorse, lack of feeling for human beings, treating people almost like cattle is something that I kind of had the feeling of. It was almost like that hunter coming in and just taking whatever they want, and there's no repercussions. Because when I saw this scene, something that imagery was almost like Bambi in a sense, or if you imagine there's a little baby creature and then or an ape or something, right? Like Planet of the Apes, and the mother gets stripped or killed or taken, and human beings have no thought whatsoever about the actual emotional consequences that has for another living creature. So the aliens or the other life forms look at humans very much the same way. They don't care. There is nothing. Because what would you do if you ran over a turtle on the side of the road and then you saw a baby turtle or whatever? You're just gonna be whatever.
You feel bad.
You might feel bad, but are you gonna really pick up that baby turtle and then bring it home and then nurture it and then? No, exactly, because it's a waste of time. It's outside the realm of what you see as important.
Well, yeah, but I saw a turtle, for example. I saw a turtle this summer. He was in the middle of the road. I picked him up, finished the job for him.
So what? The equivalent of that is taking this kid and just moving him, and this baby. But it's because we as human beings have emotional connection to children.
Yeah.
That it feels strange watching that, and it feels really intense. It felt really intense when I watched it.
I think the movie did a good job, though, upon reflection, of showing her gaining, like we kind of said, like a
very subtly
morality. Well, thinking about like that club scene, and she's like freaking out, kind of, and like panicking. Why was she panicking?
Well, it's probably overexposure to these things. It's something that she was not ready for. She didn't understand where they were going, what they were doing. You get in there, it's loud, it's aggressive. Imagine going to another planet and these random creatures grab you and bring you to this extremely loud place that you never even experienced. It would be shocking. It would be sensory overload.
And I think it's kind of even like they're not explicitly shown, but like maybe that they were taking some kind of party drug or something.
Maybe.
That's something you would do in like a club like that.
One thing that stuck out to me is, how does she not stink? Okay, she never showered once the entire movie. I seriously wrote that down. Like, she obviously didn't shower, and then I wrote no hole, no love.
No, I thought about that when she's with the guy that she meets on the bus, and they're like about to do it, and he's like taking her clothes off. I'm like, man, that stuff must be grody as hell.
Her hole must have ripped, dude. She grabbed that lamp quick.
No, because there was nothing there.
Or she just didn't know what her vagina was. That's another one of those like little,
You think so though?
Hold on, let me tip my fedora, milady.
Yeah.
And come in here and explain this.
But
no, I think it could be either or, because the expression on the guy's face is like, why isn't this going in? Kind of. You could read it that way. I think it's kind of ambiguous in terms of like what. I have a feel. I tend to lean more towards like she just doesn't know what a vagina is. Just awareness of it.
Do you really think that though? Because she's using like her sexuality to lure these men, and you think
but it was completely surface level, and that's at the behest of a system. It's at the behest of her handler, who's a man. And they even have there's one scene in particular when he's just sitting there like looking her up and down and staring at her, kind of making sure she's like good to go.
Yeah.
Like,
like she's not gone crazy or lost her shit.
Or like he just knows what will work, and he's like trying to make her conform to what men want a woman to be.
So I have a question. In the scene where the disfigured guy, she lets him go, and she's like staring at that mirror for like it seems like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that her looking at herself or like looking like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, am I a monster or something? There's
a
realization.
She becomes self-aware, like a flip switch.
Yeah.
Man, I felt like that went on for like a while. I was like, what the hell is going
on? The movie, obviously, I think the movie did a great job. Sitting here, we're talking about a movie that I don't want to say I didn't like it. I just don't want to say I didn't like it, that I didn't enjoy it, but it's not a movie I would just watch again. And it's one of those things that I think it's a great talking.
You don't think in like 5 years you would like revisit this movie?
I could see myself in 5 years, maybe.
It's been about a year and a half. This is only the second time I've watched it.
It's one of those things where I'm watching it. The lack of dialogue, you have to pay attention. You absolutely have to be focused watching this movie. If you take a minute and look away, you can miss something very important.
It's not a fucking Marvel movie, dude. This is a Scorsese movie, okay? Scorsese love this movie.
Hearing you guys is how you feel about it. There's a lot of nuance to it, so I could see the positives of watching it a second time, even like soon.
I thought it was much more obvious what the movie is like after you've already seen it once. Like, and they do actually seed a lot of stuff really well. Very subtle. Because it's long shots, there's not dialogue, it's all clues. That's how you learn about what's going on. Like, they don't overtly actually tell you anything. There's no person that sits down and just exposition dumps, like, we're from the planet Klaxon, okay?
Yeah.
And we need the goop.
That was definitely an interesting part for me. The lack of information really makes you think.
Just lazy, though.
No, it's not.
I mean, you don't need to give me a bunch of exposition, but
it just made you pay attention. It just made you pay attention. Like, you can get the movie. There's nothing in that movie that is out of reach of understanding if you just pay attention to it. Like,
well, now that you bring up the whole feminist thing, that end makes total sense.
Yeah, of course.
I'm like, what the? I was thinking, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is fucking silly.
What was silly?
The dude just. I don't know. She's walking around in the woods. This one guy comes across her.
It is a little ridiculous.
Seems like a good guy, right?
He's a logger.
And then he just Jason Bourne sprints at her and starts trying to rape her.
Well,
and then he lights her on fire.
The implication that when he saw her, intended to rape her the first time, he was just putting the nice act on, and he was going to wait lost in the woods. Because even though he says all the trails are marked, I didn't see any markings on any of the trails.
No, there was nothing out there.
I think he was trying to get her to go deeper into the woods.
She never even slipped. Okay, he said it was slipped, but she didn't slip.
The fake movie, 0 out of 5 stars.
There was the ending scene was
powerful, moving.
Like, what was it supposed to symbolize?
Sean? Well, I mean, obviously, so she
had inherently evil.
She had self-actualized. She was a woman for herself, and men just will not fucking stand for that.
Oh my god, give me a break.
So it was so beautiful that he just had to fucking destroy it. He didn't understand it.
Like, who would come back after they saw some black monster, right?
He came back with a can of gas and set her on fire.
That's stupid.
Why not?
I know I'm being silly. I know I shouldn't.
No. Hold on. Listen to me and think about this. This is the thing to me. Okay, so he sees that this is obviously not something normal, whatever, when he rips the skin off the back. And he goes, oh, God. So he doesn't run and grab, like, because I'm going to tell you right now, if that alien was like, this dude was trying to rape me, one, no one's gonna give a shit because it's an alien. Like no bullshit. No one's gonna care. Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my god, it's an alien." That almost got raped, but no one's gonna care. This guy could have just took some video, and become viral sensation.
Yeah, but I think it's cheap to like try to do that though.
No, I mean, running up with a thing against.
Yeah, because
think about how you would handle it. Yeah, I don't think that's.
I mean,
I think I would run. I don't think I would sit there and try to fucking,
Yeah, but you're taking
burn.
you can't like hold the movie all of a sudden to a literal standard.
Right,
like it doesn't. It's not. It's more allegory. It's not like meant to be taken super literally. It's
Symbolically,
like Aronofsky's fucking Mother, which I actually don't like. I actually think that's a pretty awful movie.
I don't know if it's awful, but
that movie is pure allegory. You can't take anything literally in that movie.
What is it referring to?
I don't want to get into that. We can't.
Under the Skin, not Mother.
Oh, okay.
What is what referring to?
Just like feminism?
What is it?
Yeah, it's just about how men or how women exist in the world and what it means to be a woman and the dynamic between men and women, I guess, to a certain degree.
If you think about it, man, it really beats you over the head with that shit.
It does. No, that's what I said. It's very thinly veiled. It's very obvious. And, this is just another example, because once she gets her skin torn and you reveal that it's a black woman underneath, that Scarlett Johansson has taken another role away from a woman of color.
Yeah.
Yet again.
I don't know.
No,
I
but
think overall, it was an interesting experience.
I think this movie could have been awful. It could have been preachy and just like it does beat you over the head with it, but it does it in such a poetic way. Like I just don't care. Like I just love the way that the images and the score and how it all and it tells this story in the most subtle, understated way. It tells very simple. I like that. I just really that's what I enjoy about it. It's kind of like this very small scale version. And in some way, this may be a little bit of a stretch, but of a 2001, where it's it takes the simple idea of man self-actualizing, because that's what 2001's about. Through technology, man becomes God, basically.
Man as humankind, though.
Yes. Mankind becomes its own God by the end of 2001. That's kind of what it's getting at, in my opinion.
Okay.
And I think that this is a mini version of that. It reminded me a lot of 2001 for some reason. And not in the literal way, like it's a science fiction movie, it's about space. It's no, it's just the tone, way it made me feel towards the end. I don't know.
Do you think
it could have been? This could have been awful. I'm surprised that I like it as much as I do, to be honest with you.
So Dan had a thought that do you think men have a right to be offended?
I don't.
By this movie.
I think saying do men have a right to be offended is weird.
All right, that's a weird. All right, let me rephrase that. Do you think? Yeah, that's an odd way to say that. Do you think this is representing men in a general sense, or it's a certain class of men? Because it does in the movie, it only goes after loner type men who seem like scumbags.
Well, that's not. You don't know anything about those men, so it's hard. They're just guys that are just walking down the street.
That's true.
I mean, what it's saying is men. There's an inherent predatory nature to men, and when they think they can take advantage of a situation, they will.
I disagree. I disagree fundamentally with that.
Disagree with what?
That's not what it was saying. It's not predatory. She was being the predator.
No, I understand, but she's taking advantage of an innate nature in men. That's how they're so easily seduced.
No, animals, Sean. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
This is to me on a more nature level based argument as to why why these interactions took place. These creatures that came from wherever they came from, interdimensional beings, Alex Jones, whoever they are, they understand the basic concepts of the nature of human beings, where women do not have the physical representation that men have in this world. So they use their prowess, manipulation, sexuality to take advantage of men. And it's an easier thing to do, and it's not as what's the word I'm looking for? It's not obvious. It's not to the outside world. If a man gets in a truck with a woman, to the regular everyday world, it doesn't seem dangerous. So it's easier to get away with.
Yeah, that's why it's a woman doing it.
Even though it is incredibly dangerous for a woman to do that, but
it is, but it doesn't look to because if it was the roles were flipped and reversed, men are more anonymous figures in society. When it comes to, because if a man gets into a vehicle with a woman, no one's going to think twice. No one's going to think it's weird.
You're like being way too literal again. Like it's just not that.
It's my opinion, bro.
Well, I know that.
My opinion. It's not about being literal. I'm just saying you can break it down just into that element of just saying these are hunters. They figured out a simple way that is easy to disguise, and they understand within the bigger picture. For me, when I look at it, is that men are obviously manipulated by sex, or because they are searching for that sexual gratification. Yes. So it says that men are technically the stronger, more physically dominant of the two species, but women really hold all the power, which is where I agree with you in the feminist.
I don't think it's not. Well, it's. I don't know. The film is saying that women hold all the power. I don't know if that's what the movie's saying. I mean, maybe that could be, I guess, your read on it. Maybe.
Well, you could easily interpret it that way.
I think the ending is pretty definitive. That's not the case.
Or the ending is her being overpowered, dominated, and killed by a man.
It's pretty definitive.
It's being a woman.
It is just saying, like, women are like, it is a little bit of a victim narrative, a little bit at the end of the movie, like it is.
I don't take it as a victim narrative. Yeah, I guess you could say that, but I think it's more along the lines of she was the hunter the entire film, pretty much, or at least for the first hour. She was the hunter. She was going out and getting these men until she stopped becoming a hunter, and then she decided to interact with this world in a real emotional way. And then when she decides to leave this world behind of being evil, I guess you could say, or what the morality of our world would view as evil, is taking these everyday men, and regardless, they never did any wrong to her.
I think they're making the movie making really a moral judgment in that way. I don't like with the men that are her victims. I don't think it's making a moral judgment.
No,
I don't think you don't know enough about them. All you know is that, like, and you can know this because being a guy or whatever, or just dudes are like that. Like, it would not be crazy for a dude to think that, like, oh, this chick wants to fuck me, I'm gonna get in this van. Like, that's pretty normal.
It's a pretty dumb move.
It's dumb, but it's normal.
But that's the false sense of superiority, I guess you could say, that men have, that they feel like there is no
consequences.
Do you think the Scottish countryside guy is supposed to represent something like the better side of men, or?
I think it's another step in, like, this empathy thing, because you don't. That story kind of gets cut short, right? Like, it gets cut before it becomes to any fruition. But he treats her on her own terms. Like, he's not looking to get something from her based on what he wants. He kind of wants.
It's still incredibly weird that someone would take the time. Oh, you don't say anything, huh? You afraid or whatever you said?
I feel like she comes across mentally challenged at some points. If I saw this person in the street, there's something wrong with her.
Well, yeah, because she has kind of this dead stare because she doesn't know what a person really is. Like, so she's faking it. She's a phony, and like, so there is like, and I don't mean this in a derogatory sense. There's a little bit of like an autistic kind of thing about the way she interacts with people, right?
Yeah.
Like, the only time she ever interacts with anybody that's not in like this kind of seducing way is with the dude in the bus. That's why she's so put off. She doesn't know how to respond. Somebody's asking her how she feels.
Yeah.
Like when all the other conversations you see her have are completely like projection conversations where she's talking about the men. Oh, you got a cute smile, I like your hair, nice eyes, and then they compliment her, but it's not. They're complimenting her because she complimented them, and they think they're flirting.
That's what I thought that was the most intriguing part, was seeing her transition into, like, I don't know, in a sense, becoming human, and Does it start with the disfigured man?
No,
Right.
that's like so the evolution that I noticed watching it, the first person she takes, then she only takes her shirt off. And then the second one, she is only in her underwear. And then in the third stage, which I believe is the third or fourth person, is when she gets completely nude. And that's for the disfigured man. And that's where she fully exposes herself to
I think
this.
she's completely nude with one person before the disfigured man.
No, I took notes. It's right here. I literally did. I
Pretty
took
sure
Sean.
she is. No, that
Sean,
guy.
on that paper he's got right in front of him.
No, I mean it's not that she was completely nude. She may have taken off her shirt at one point and
Oh,
her
yeah.
bra, but she is only completely nude with that man at that when they're in that room of goop.
I mean, I'll take your word for it, but I'm pretty sure she's completely naked when the guy that you actually see underneath the water.
Nope.
Or
Nope,
Yeah.
only underwear.
telling you, because
Well,
she's standing there. She's standing there over him.
In her
She's-
underwear.
No,
Yes.
she's naked, dude.
Oh my gosh, John, no.
That was the coolest guy, huh? How he danced his way into the
into
water.
Yeah.
the-
That was awesome.
You know what I also respect about this movie? It's an equal nudity offender.
yeah,
Okay?
yep.
We
It was
saw
more
Plenty.
wiener than anything.
got some
and-
dong.
And those dudes were erect.
Hell yeah,
Erect.
dude.
A couple
the
of
first dude
fully
thing
erect.
was pointing to the sky.
Yeah, dude, like straight up. Like they had to man, that shit was intense. I mean, it was an equal nudity offender for sure.
I love the way those scenes are shot, though. That was actually
Mhm.
like really like
Yeah.
gorgeous and like haunting and weird, and yeah, it was awesome.
It was an interesting experience to say the least. I would say I would give the movie. Oh, this is tough for me. I would say a 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10, something around.
Oh my
there.
God. Go watch Joker again. you
No, I
fucking
would.
ass.
The only reason I think it is a very interesting film. It is really beautifully shot. The acting is fine. All that stuff. It just missed the mark for me. It was great. I enjoyed it on some level, but I didn't sit there after and go, wow. Those few scenes with the scene with the baby elevated it. The scene with the disfigured man elevated it for me. Those were the two things that stuck out the most for me in the movie, and that was the only thing that really hammered it home for me, that made me really think about things. Everything else was kind of
I've enjoyed the conversation surrounding the movie more than I did the movie.
Me too. Me too.
And that's fair. And I think that's because I don't know if this is how you guys would feel about this movie. I'm not saying it is, but it's happened to me in my life where like I didn't really not necessarily get or appreciate something the first time I saw it. It's like talk to people, and I would talk to people and I'd be like, oh, I didn't really think of it that way or from that perspective, and it made me appreciate the movie.
I can see that.
That's like good conversation about movies sometimes can change your opinion. It's definitely done that for me a few times in my life. I mean, normally I have the correct opinion, but the gate. Yeah.
I'm just saying, maybe it's the same thing like Star Wars. Why haven't you grown up and just hated
Dude,
that?
We're gonna do a Star Wars one.
I'm
Don't
just
worry.
saying Star
We
Wars.
gotta
is
wait.
shit.
Well, when we'll do it like right before or right after. Maybe we'll just do a complete Star Wars
Dude.
hoedown.
Oh
we
god.
need to do a Lord of the Rings fucking one.
All right. Well, we're gonna talk after we get off. After we've done recording, we're gonna talk about a couple things about this.
I give this movie a 5 out of 10. Scarlett, she's got a real nice body, right?
Dude,
Uh,
that at least should bring it up to a 7 for me, but I can't.
You're fucking disgusting.
I am.
I am the men in this movie. If you
I give it.
if
Yeah, kind of.
yeah. I'm gonna tell you right now, if Scarlett Johansson walked in all lifeless and fucking weird, I would still try.
I could see you too, like on the side of the road, like, huh? Me?
Me?
Huh?
You want me to come with you, hang out?
I don't know.
Let's go.
The fact that none of these men picked up that she was asking these like questions.
No, there was one gentleman. I think he was the second or third guy. He looks outside. He looks back at it. He's like, I don't feel this doesn't feel right, but fuck it.
Because it was probably one of the real people.
Yeah,
Like,
but
there's-
they had
there's
to
a-
recognize it was Scarlett Johansson.
No, it didn't. I mean, because you're not expecting to see Scarlett Johansson in a fucking van.
No, not getting into.
I would know.
I'm talking about when they get to the house. When they actually get to the house.
Oh, those guys are actors. Yeah.
I know that's the one scene I'm talking. He looks back at the van and he's like, "This is fucking weird."
Yeah. Like, come on, dude.
And then he does what we would all do, and he goes
I know.
to the house.
I would not.
Listen,
What
what
was the status of that house? That house looked like a crack den.
Yeah, but it's up there in Scotland, up in the hills.
But
Like, they always crack
it's got that top tier Scarlett Johansson snatch.
Oh, I get it. You're trying to flip this house, huh? Right?
Oh, horse. What is this?
I could help you fix a couple things like that.
Are you gonna bang on this black floor? Make my cum really pop.
Oh, is this a goop house? Oh, shit.
Heard about
Pretty
these
nice.
right in Architecture Digest. Really impressive.
I do have a question. Is the whole scene of them going underwater is symbolizing something, or are they in a trance? Like,
I think it probably has some sort of metaphorical meaning that I'm not like grasping.
Well, if I could just say something. So in the beginning,
she's a succubus, bro.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Well,
it is.
In the beginning, when you first see, just to let you guys, everyone know, if you can make it through the first 5 minutes of the movie, you do see full frontal nudity with Scarlett Johansson. So it's pretty nice. But in that initial scene, it's all white.
Yeah,
It's all white.
She's just been born.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing, and then she puts the clothes on, and then she leaves, which is just interesting. And then the black, only time black is when they were consuming.
Or or maybe there's like a purity and then like a unpure thing, like because the purity of being born and like having no influences, and then she's all black at the end because she's been.
But what?
In snow. That's right.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. Well, I mean that's in my final statement on the movie. I would recommend to give it a watch but you do not look at your phone. Actually focus. Make sure you have a good amount of time to just take it in and actually watch it. It probably won't be your favorite movie, but
I disagree with that. If you love Marvel movies and Fast and the Furious, you will hate this fucking movie. I'll tell you that right now.
No. You will love this movie. You should watch it.
Riveting. That's my final thoughts.
It's like I said. I guess I'll just give my final thoughts. It is one of my favorite movies of the past decade. I put it in my top 10 of the decade.
He also likes Star Wars. Everyone's so it's kind of hard.
I like the original Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. Yes, you have outed me, but don't worry. When Star Wars season comes, we're gonna be getting into some.
I'm not watching films again.
Yes, you are.
If you want to be on Zoobox Goes to the Movies, you will. When you come home for Thanksgiving, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be marathoning.
That's a good idea.
I'm gonna watch all of them, dude. I own every one of them
on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
All right, are we done?
All right, we're done recording it.
Okay. Hey,
we should watch every movie